We welcome to the Only Fools and Horses podcast, Gordon Warnecke. How's it going?
Very well, thank you. Honoured to be here.
No, thank you very much. So you played Henry, a concierge in The Sky's the Limit. That's right, isn't it, Gordon?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. What do you remember about the part? How did you actually get the part initially?
Initially, I got the part. I had a glass of red wine while I'm talking to you.
Help yourself.
Lovely.
Thank you. Tony Dow, who directed the episode, he contacted my agent and said, would Gordon do one scene for Only Fools and Horses? And I said, yeah, definitely. I mean, Birds of a Feather was great fun with Linda and Pauline, and being a North London boy, everything slotted in. And then further along the line, he asked me to do Only Fools and Horses, which I was like, yeah, of course. It's like a great institutionalized program within the British psych. It's like, it's just the best thing, one of the best things that you can be in. Doctor Who, Only Fools and Horses, Dad's Army, all of those amazing shows. So that's how I got involved.
So you didn't actually have to audition at all, or did you have to go through the audition process?
I didn't have to audition because I'd already done a couple of episodes on Birds of a Feather. Tony knew that I was okay in that, thankfully. And so it was just a straight offer, which you don't often get in the acting business, to be honest.
So talk us through your scene then. You did it with Nick Lyndhurst, of course.
Yeah. So basically what happened was we shot hours without a studio audience. Okay. So the week preceding that was at what is known as you probably know, the BBC Hilton, which is where they did all the rehearsals for many, many shows, Only Fools and Horses and countless BBC shows. And I was there for about 4 days. Just one scene, but it was cool. Roger was there, David, of course, Nicholas. Gwyneth wasn't.
Yeah, she was. Because she was stranded abroad. That's why, wasn't she?
She was abroad. But funny enough, taking it on a slight diversion, Gwyneth and I worked together on a show a few years ago after Only Fools and Horses, and it was quite a long show. We played in Edinburgh and we played London and we did a tour. So although I talked about Gwyneth in Only Fools and Horses, I ended up actually working with her, and we've become very good friends since.
What a coincidence!
Huh?
What a coincidence!
Yeah, I know.
Later.
It's absolutely mad. In fact, we were emailing each other today about a script. So yeah, it's just like kind of bizarre that I talk about her in that one little scene, and I end up working with her for over a year, on and off, on a tour of a show for the Unicorn Theatre. It was crazy.
Small world.
So yeah, we rehearsed for about 4 or 5 days in the BBC rehearsal studios in Acton, otherwise known as the BBC Hilton, and various shows on different floors of this building was rehearsed. And then my actual scene with Nicholas was in the studio, I think in the morning of the recording. And then the audience came in the afternoon and they watched all the rest of it.
Oh, great. And what was it like working with Nicholas Lyndhurst?
Lovely. I mean, he's just such he's a very competent actor. When you're working with somebody like that, actors have a kind of rapport. And so one actor feeds an actor another line, the other actor comes back. You don't have to work at it. You just get a balance going. You don't have to over rehearse it. And it's lovely working with him. And also watching the likes of David Jason and so on doing their scenes. It's just great. And John Sullivan was in the rehearsal room, and people forget. I'm not being ageist or anything, but young people don't know how good the writers were back in the day. John Sullivan was a great writer, and I think people of the day knew how good he was. He'd lay like a trap at the beginning of a scene, and he would come back to it later on. That's where it comes from. He was a brilliant writer, and it was an honour to be in the same room as him. If you look at the likes of Gorton and Simpson, John Sullivan, all those guys and women, they were fantastic. And I think these days people forget how good these writers were.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a brilliant episode, isn't it, Gordon? Because your episode, it's the sky's the limit, isn't it? And it's Del Boy's acquired a satellite dish.
A satellite,
which he thinks is Boyce's that's been nicked, but it turns out to be Broncos that's had it stolen from Heathrow Airport, isn't it?
It's absolutely, listen, it's just quality. But I'll give you £100 if you can name me one bad episode of Only Fools and Horses. Every episode is bang on, and that's why it has this amazing following, and why people respect. It's timeless as well.
Yeah, it is. Well, we're talking about a show, like you say. Do you know when your episode was? I know what it was. I just wonder if you just remember, like, 'cause you've done a lot since.
I can't remember.
It was actually broadcast on Sunday, the 30th of December, 1990.
Oh my God!
Sorry, mate. I hope it hasn't depressed you.
Yeah, no. It just...
But yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? We're still talking about a show that's 40 odd years old, aren't we now? The first.
But
series.
Listen, it's timeless. It's like, I'm not kind of just bigging it up, but look at music. Look at Tamla Motown. Look at that music. We're still listening to it, right? We're listening to that music, and I promise you, in 20, 30 years' time, when we've all gone up to that little place up in the sky, people will still be listening to it. It's the same with Only Fools and Horses, and certain British comedies will always be watched because they are timeless and they're so well written.
It's still getting an airing on UK Gold to this day, isn't it, as well? So, like,
it's still playing.
Yeah,
it's still. I get messages from mates. They're like out in Benidorm or wherever, and Gordon, I just seen your ugly mug on Only Fools and Horses on the plane, or I'm in a bar in wherever, and it's like it's played all around the world because the writing, it's about the writing, and it's about the delivery and the performances that makes it so good. And if you've got time, not you personally, but look at all the great sitcoms. How many of those have stood the test of time and will stand the test of time because they're so good?
Oh yeah, there's so many, isn't there? There's like Porridge and Open All Hours and
God, amazing.
Dad's Army. So many great sitcoms.
Exactly, and we keep rewatching that. But name me, don't do it now, but name me a comedy series that you've rewatched in the last 10 years. I promise you, there's not many.
No. You always go back to that era, don't you? Like you say. No, it's. I think Fools and Horses. We always say, like, if you talk about top trumps, it trumps every comedy, longevity, humour,
yes,
story, everything.
Yeah. And the thing is you can stop anybody in the street basically and say, Only Fools and Horses, what is your favourite scene? And everybody will come up, either the leaning against, in the bar when you're falling down, the chandelier coming down, the Batman scene, whatever it is. I mean, come on, that is part of the British psyche. It's like incredible.
Yeah, his words are in the English dictionary, some of them, aren't they? Lovely jubbly and...
Are they?
I think so. Plonker and stuff like that. Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. His French phrases were always funny as well, weren't they? He always got his French wrong, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There were loads. but there's also the world is your lobster and stuff like that, and it's just
Not your oyster, your lobster.
yeah, it's just brilliant, you know, and people still quote it even now. You hear it in a pub or whatever. Well, I had to do an audition recently, and I got a cap like yours to wear, and I was sorting out my caps as you do.
Oh yeah, wow,
Nice.
Very
And
similar.
that is totally bizarre.
Yeah.
And I've actually got it in my drawer beside my office desk. Yes.
There you go. I got one as well.
Oh, there we go.
So we're all wearing one.
That's fantastic.
There you go. We're all all in sync there. Yeah, I'm supposed to be Del Boy from early '80s with me blue shirt and me, brief.
No, I noticed that.
Yeah. I actually met Sir David, not this year. We'll ask you about your convention in a minute. I actually met Sir David in this outfit, actually, and he was saying, "Oh, is that my jacket? Because it's exactly the same one and things." Yeah, so you
and I see you've got the whole mock-up behind you.
Yeah, I have. I've got the bar there, and I've got another bar there, and yeah, I'm a crazy fan. I've even got a real trotter van, Gordon, as well. Would you believe?
No.
Yeah, that I drive around. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So
that's
that
for
is
weddings,
brilliant.
isn't it, and such?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Do some weddings sometimes in it. Yeah. Take the groom to the church as like a surprise.
That is so good. But it just shows you the cultural importance of a show like Only Fools. It's part of the British psyche. As you said earlier, Dad's Army, Only Fools and Horses, Open All Hours. You know, I mean, those are shows that will never, ever die. You know, people will not forget them. Even the generations after, like my son, who's 32, he'll watch it. He'll watch it and he'll laugh and that's how good it is. It's like the music, Tamla Motown and all of that. People will not forget that music.
Timeless, yeah. And I was 4 when that episode was out, so there you go.
Oh, God, you look so much older.
86 I was born, so
no need for that. There's no need to say you're only 4 there, Chris. To be fair,
that was no need for that.
No. But
it shows how universally popular it is, doesn't it? I mean, like you're saying, because it'll always live on the show. I think
it just connects people together, and surely that's what culture and art is about. That it's a talking point and it connects people together, and that's why I think the arts is so important.
You mentioned your son there. Did he watch the show and then you actually said, "Oh, by the way, I was in an episode," or did he? Was that how he started?
I think he fell across it. I think he knew that I was in it, and then he was watching it, and I came up. And, oh my God, Dad, it's you! It's one of those.
Yeah,
but he's used to see me on the TV anyway. But it was one of those shows that it wouldn't be his first choice, but he just happened to pop up and he saw me. And again, just being, it's a very selfish thing, but it's just nice that you've got that bond with your son or your siblings to say, yeah, I'm part of that, and you get a lot of respect for that. I did an episode of Top Boy, and I got loads of respect for that from him and his mates. But Dan's also seen me in Only Fools and Horses, which I think will probably outlive Top Boy. I don't know. But it's just something I'm very proud of.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, but and that episode I was looking 15 million viewers. Would you believe 15 million?
Oh my God!
Yeah, crazy.
I will give money back for the TV license for having to endure me acting.
Oh no, you've given us.
You played the part well.
Yeah,
I thought it was very believable. You stitched up Rodney a bit, didn't you? So it was quite believable.
No, it was. It was fun. It was fun. But that's what I'm saying. It's work when you work with the likes of David Jason, or in this case, Rodney Nicholas. It's everybody in life, they do what they do and they're good at what they do. In this case, Nicholas was, he's great. He's fantastic. So you don't have to work that hard because there's a rapport going. You don't have to work at it, and it's so important, And obviously, that was spotted, and he's doing Fraser now.
Yeah,
you know, which is one of my favourite series. But yeah, there's a knack to it, and it's good. It just makes life a lot easier when you're on the set, working with somebody who just you can really relate to.
And sometimes he would give actors advice, like, you know, with Vass Blackwood when he was the Shadow. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
He told him how to say what he said when he was saying Shadow. He told him to say it like that. He said, say it like that, and it'd be brilliant.
Really?
He was going to say it differently, but he said, no, go Shadow. So it shows you that he'd help actors as well.
Yeah.
Made it
and Tony Dow, the director, was great as well. You know, it says a lot. I've done a lot of TV, a lot of film, a lot of theatre. When a director allows you to have your own space, who doesn't dictate to you how he wants a scene played, and he lets the actors do the stuff, because we're all trained actors, most of us. That's when it works. That's when the sparks fly. He never imposed anything. You know, he might give you a little tweak, you know, a couple of little notes, but on the whole, he lets you get on with it. And those are always, and I'm talking about not just TV, but film, cinema. The best directors are the directors that let the actors and trust the actors to get on with it. If it's wrong, they'll tell you. If it's not their what they envisage, they'll say, no, pull it back, give it a bit more, or whatever. Tony Dow trusted his actors.
Yeah. And that probably brought the best out of them, didn't it? Like you say.
Yeah. Because actors on the whole, they are creative people, you know, and they'll give it their spin, and it's generally right. And when you've got somebody like Nicholas Lyndhurst, for instance, and myself, and you're bouncing off each other, the director will just sit back and watch the sparks fly. Thank you very much. Cut. On to the next. That's what acting is about.
And you would have reconvened with Tony Dow and David Jason at the recent convention. How did that go?
I certainly did. Tony, bless him, he's a little bit older. I'm a little bit older. David, I thought, was an absolute star. My God, I mean, I said hello to him briefly, but he did so much talking with the fans. I mean, I turned up on a Saturday night at 5:30. My stuff was on the Sunday, and somebody said to me, it was like he's still going. At 7 o'clock, he was still talking to the, and you know, you can't describe how great that is. You know, there's a lot of actors, oh, I've done my bit, I've been paid, yeah, I'm going to go and have dinner. No, he kept going and going. And if you look at David Jason's work, you know, people keep saying Only Fools and Horses, but I'm sorry, he's done a lot more than that.
Yeah.
He's done a lot more than that. And from an actor's perspective, I mean, I remember him in Porterhouse Blues.
Yeah.
And it was like, he's done some seriously good work, like a lot of work. It's great he's known for Only Fools and Horses, but from an actor's perspective, you can only respect somebody who does that level of work. You know, and I'm not just being gushing. It's from one actor to another. I have total respect for him, and the way he treated his fans was fantastic.
Yeah, and
of course,
he did different roles as well, didn't he? He wasn't always the same part.
No, exactly. Like, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Touch of Frost or something like that.
Something completely different.
Shows the range of his acting ability.
Yeah, exactly. Porterhouse Blues. It's all of that stuff. You know, people don't always remember that. And a couple of years ago, he did a kind of sci-fi thing, and it wasn't it's a fantasy thing. You'll probably tell me what it is. You know, and it's great. That's what acting is about. It's the diversity of a character. Yeah, you can make your name in one part, but you ask any actor, they want to do other stuff.
Yeah,
I think that's where Sir David, he was spotted on Open All Hours for the part, but I think it was John Sullivan had reservations because Granville, like you say, is such a different character, isn't he? And I think Ray Buck convinced him. Ray was before Tony, I think, Tony Dow, wasn't he? But Ray Buck convinced him, David can do this part as well, yeah. He was about third or fourth choice, wasn't he, I think, to play the part as well of Del Boy.
That's the unfortunate thing about casting, is that most actors, you know, people they pigeonhole actors and actresses, right? And it's like, no, they can do. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do different parts. They're pigeonholed the whole time. I'm talking about TV, theatre, and film. You know, actors will jump at a chance to do something different.
Another one was Roger Lloyd Pack, famously, because obviously we all know him as Trigger, but he acted in
He's done so much work.
Theatre plays, didn't he? And totally different stuff. Great.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. It's a shame that you get pigeonholed, but so many actors can do so much different stuff, but they're not always given the opportunity, because they'll say, oh no, he's like Del Boy, or he's Trigger. But no, I'm sorry, they can do a lot more than that.
It reminds me of as well what you were just saying there, Gordon, about you know, Jim Broadbent. He played Slater, didn't he, in Only Fools? Well, he's had a great career, hasn't he, in films, etc.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and he was on Graham Norton. And Graham Norton says, "What do you get recognised for the most?" He said, "Only Fools and Horses." You know, and you think he wasn't a big part, was he? You know, 3 episodes, but still gets recognised for that more than anything. You know,
exactly. And Jim Broadbent has done so much work. You know, but I think that's all part of the whole thing about acting, is that we go where the work is, and if the script's good, and listen, if somebody recognises you for a particular part, great. But there's a lot of other stuff that goes on.
Yeah. It's a small part of anyone's life, really, isn't it? Yeah, you know, there's a lot more that goes on. I think Jim Broadbent said, "I did everyone a favour by refusing the part of Del Boy, because we wouldn't have had Sir David doing it then, would we?" So
yeah,
that's what he said, didn't he?
He did say that. Yeah, on the Graham Norton. Yeah, it's quite a good.
Really.
Yeah.
I think David Jason was born to that part. You know, it's just that physically and vocally, everything was right for it, and we all know a Del Boy.
And he based it on a real person as well, which is, I'm
sure.
Yeah, he based it on somebody who'd have the most expensive clothes. He'd wear lots of jewellery, but he talk like this, you know. So I think that was really good what he did with the character. Obviously,
yeah,
Del Boy's one of the best characters ever, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean, you only have to say Del Boy, and people know exactly who you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
that's right.
It's great. I remember, just changing the subject slightly, I was on tour with Gwyneth, Cassandra, and we were walking through Bristol. We were playing the theatre there, and we were with one of the actors. The other actors didn't come, but we wanted to have a little roam about Bristol because he went to university there. And we were walking up the street, and Gwyneth kept saying, "I know, this looks very familiar, very familiar." And about 5 minutes later, she said, "Oh, we shot Only Fools and Horses here." Now, that showed you how long ago it was. And because, as you know, they had to move out of London and film in Bristol. And to me, I was gobsmacked. I'd already done it, but I didn't realise. I said, "My God, Gwyneth, it's like you really had to think about this place. And this must have been so much part of your life." You know, I found that actually shook me, you know.
What I don't suppose you know what was it? Was it one of the pubs, or I can't remember what the scene?
No, it was a certain street. We came around the bend. I don't know if you know Bristol, but as you're going up, Bristol has got like a very very steep road up towards where the bridge is, and we just turned into this steep road. And Gwen said, "I just know this street. I know this street." And it was bugging her. And then she said Only Fools and Horses. I thought, how the hell can you not remember? You know?
Yeah, unbelievable. I think they were getting pestered, I think, in London at the time, weren't they? In
yeah,
Bristol.
That's why they moved out of South London. And being a North London boy, I'm glad they did. I'm not a big South London fan.
No, because it wasn't filmed in Peckham, though, was it? I don't think. Anyway, it was the series should have been Peckham. I don't think it was even filmed in Peckham, was it? I don't think.
It was somewhere down that way, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not completely sure. But, you know, like most things, it was getting a lot of attention. So they moved out to Bristol.
We still need to do that, Chris, don't we? The Trotters Ethnic tours around Bristol, because they do that. They take you to the filming locations.
Do they?
That's the next thing we want to do at some point.
Coach excursion. Yeah, should be good. There was a guy, Tim Keevil, hope he doesn't matter. He's on a podcast. He used to have a van, didn't he, and take people out. Unfortunately, he doesn't do that anymore. That would have been good. But the coach excursion, yeah, we'll have to do that. The music. Have you been to see the musical, Gordon? I don't think you have yet, Chris, have you?
Do you know what? I'm 50-50 if I want to go and see it or not. Because I'm such a massive fan of Only Fools and Horses. Yeah. Do I want to see other people playing Delboy, Rodney, and so on? But I've heard good things, and I've heard other people say, yeah, it's all right. There's a lot of applauding when characters walk on that I don't agree with, you know. Maybe I'll see it. I don't know. Have you guys seen it?
Chris has. The other Chris.
I've seen it for all of you. I think I've seen it 4 times. Yeah, I think it's.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's different than the show, obviously, but it's definitely worth a watch. Yeah, really good.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. On that recommendation, I'll go and see it.
Well, it must be playing near you now because it's touring around the country now as well. You see, so.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I mean, you're from London, you're saying, so you might. Is it Haymarket? Yeah. I think it's shown there in Haymarket in London, but.
Okay. Yeah. No, I live out in Hertfordshire, but we go into London quite a bit to see shows. So yeah, I mean, I'll give it a try. But as I said, because we all grew up with Only Fools and Horses, it's kind of embedded in our psyche, and it's like, you know, do I want to see somebody imitating?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
It's like, yeah. It's like going back to music. It's like cover versions.
Yeah, you're right. Because you'll be like, oh, that Delboy's not as good. Of course, he's not going to be as good as David.
Of course, he's not as good.
You'll be like that.
But listen, it's not hurting anybody. The show's obviously been successful, so long may it run, and maybe I'll get a cheap ticket and I'll go and see
it. Yeah. Use your influence, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think Sir David went to watch it. I don't know what he thought of it, but I think he watched it. Actually.
I heard he wasn't that fond of it.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh,
that's what I heard at the weekend.
Right. Really?
Interesting.
But I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I think if I went, I'd have low expectations. You know, like when you see a film and you think, oh, I'm not sure what this would be like. And then I would think it would be quite good, you know, hopefully. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Yeah.
Making a comedy into a musical is very different as well, isn't it? You know, has that happened before? It does happen sometimes, but
it happens sometimes. I just can't imagine it. You know, I would like to go and enjoy it. I would hate to go and be disappointed. That's what worries me.
I know they've done it with Fawlty Towers. We didn't mention Fawlty Towers as one of the best comedies either, but they've done it with that as well.
Fawlty Towers was amazing. And how many episodes were made of Fawlty Towers?
Only 12. Only 12, I believe.
And I bet both of you can remember every single episode.
Yeah.
Well, look, like if it came up, you would know what happens next. I'm not saying you remember every because it's about the writing and the performances.
I like the German one. That was hilarious.
Is that
where he's hitting the car, or is that another one?
No,
where he's hitting the car.
That was at the beginning of one of the episodes. Oh, no, it wasn't at the beginning. No, that's right. He gets this branch and starts hitting it. All of them are fantastic.
Yeah, he's getting something from another restaurant. And he meat or something because the chef's drunk, isn't he? So he has to get the meat from another restaurant, and his car breaks down. In the end, he gets a trifle, doesn't he?
Yes.
Carving up with a knife at the end. Yeah. It's a trifle, yeah.
And with Fawlty Towers, John Cleese did actually say he would bring it back as like a one-off, but because there was so much negative stuff online, he was like, well, I'm not going to bother then.
The only reason why John Cleese would bring it back is he's paying a massive divorce bill.
Oh, is he? Oh, God.
No,
Look.
seriously.
Oh,
He's
blimey.
been touring. He's been touring to pay off, I think it was his third wife, and he got stung for a lot of, like, serious money. And that's the only, and he's called it the alimony tour.
Really?
I promise you that's true.
Because he's married to Polly, wasn't he? Connie Booth, who we
Yeah,
co-wrote
but this
with.
is about 3 divorces later.
Yeah, later. She was his first wife, wasn't she, or second?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's sad it's come to that, because what a comedy genius, you know, in other things as well.
Well, it's the whole Monty Python thing and that. I mean, those, I think, were the golden days, the halcyon days of British comedy. For me, anyway. I'm 62. I know I don't look it, guys. Thank you very much.
Just about to, we were going to just jump in.
It's just a shame that I had to prompt you. but the whole Monty Python genre, the Goons, all, and oh god, the you know, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, Beyond the Fringe. That was the offspring. That was a springboard. So not offspring, springboard for what comedy became. Satire. It was fantastic. Tony Hancock. You know, all of those people, and even the comedians like Tommy Cooper and so on. You know, they were just out there on their own. Morecambe and Wise. I'm kind of digressing a bit, but it literally set a level for the comedians in the 80s and 90s.
All from that era. And with Monty Python, I really liked Life of Brian. I thought that was a fantastic
Life of Brian was fantastic, and it broke all the rules. You know, it attacked religion and everything else, and it was very interesting. You know, comedy isn't quite as cutting edge, I don't think, as that. I think Only Fools and Horses is like the middle ground. And it was incredibly funny. But I think Monty Python and those boys, they took it a little stage further in the fact that it wasn't a sitcom, but they actually challenged the establishment.
Bit like, what was the first series that John Sullivan did? Citizen Smith, was it?
That's God, right.
Yeah.
That one? That's kind of similar, challenging the establishment. You had other
shows.
It was
Wolfie. You know, it's 2 fingers up to the government and that.
Yeah.
And at that time, there were a lot of people like that. And it was such a great character, the beret, and, you know, right on, freedom for the people. You know, everybody could relate to that because that's what it was about.
You also had the Young Ones and Bottom, and there's so many great comedies.
But the Young Ones wouldn't have existed if they hadn't had their predecessors before.
Yeah.
They learned off the likes of Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, Dudley Moore. I mean, I'm totally different, but I really like that film Arthur. Do you remember that film from back in the day? Yeah. That's a great film. He showed his comic genius in that as well, and he really hit
Dudley Moore.
In that film.
I mean, I liked it because of Bo Derek, but let's not go down that road. No, that wasn't. No, that was 10, wasn't it? That was 10 that Dudley Moore was also in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were fantastic. One of my heroes is Peter Cook, who I once met at my dentist, but that's another story for another time.
He wasn't your dentist, was he? Because that would be a problem if he was.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
In the way,
but I thought Peter Cook was an absolute genius.
What about your because I always ask this on a podcast, because we hope you say yes to this. Have you still got your scripts and your outfits or anything from the show, costumes?
I was asked about that, and unfortunately, I haven't.
Right.
But I will tell you something. The scripts, and I was talking to one of the organisers, and I can't remember now who it was, on the other weekend.
Not Perry, by the way, the president. No,
it wasn't. Yeah. I think it was Chris, the other Chris.
There is a Chris McNeil.
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah. And he said, you don't happen to have the scripts. They're missing, I think, 12 scripts of the whole 62 or whatever.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? I don't. But when I did that, because I do a lot of writing, and that was the first time I'd done a TV job where the script was usually, I'll show you, it's usually like an A4, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What they did to save paper probably was they condensed it to, was it an A5?
A5 half. Yeah, A5 half the size. Yeah.
A5. And so I loved it because it's, you know, as an actor, you always walk about big scripts. So I had them as A5s, everything. And so on the back of it, because I was only in one scene, I started writing a script on the reverse pages of the script of Only Fools and Horses. I don't know what the script was, but I remember doing loads of writing because it's so compact. And that was the first time I ever used an A5 script. And I used it for my own means at the same time. Yeah, so unfortunately, I never kept the script. I wish I had.
Don't know where it went. You might have thrown it. You might give it away.
I just, in hindsight, I so wish I'd kept it. Wish I kept it.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have realised, would you? I mean, all these years later, that people still love the show, and it would be very hard to see that.
Yeah, I know. I think if it's interesting if you talk to the other actors, if they kept their scripts. I when I did a film, Beautiful Laundrette, what I did was I had all my notes on it, and I gave it to the British Library, thinking I'd get it back. And to cut a long story short, they're holding on to it, and I'm like, no, guys, I want it back to show to my son.
Yeah.
So I think scripts are quite important because you get all of those notes and stuff, and you know, years later, they're fascinating reading.
Yeah, to look back on, sort of thing.
Particularly if they would have changed something during.
Yeah.
We've had a few people that have kept their scripts, haven't we? A few actors, but there's been quite a few that have said, no, we didn't bother, or we threw it away years later. Rico said that, didn't he, from Miami Twice? He said his wife got rid of all of his stuff or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, that's such a no-no these days, or back in the day. I mean, imagine how much, I'm not talking about money, I'm talking how important these scripts are. Because then we see them the whole time on the TV.
They should be in a museum, really, shouldn't they, now? These scripts and things, yeah. The funniest one we ever had that kept it, I think you joked, Chris, didn't you, to Jumbo Mills, said, "We still got your wig?" He said, "Yeah, I had it for years, used to go out wearing it." You know, that episode, because he said it was an expensive one at the time, and he'd go out and go around the town in it, wouldn't he, Chris?
Yeah, he said he had it for like a decade or something, but then he threw it away in the end. It was no good. But yeah, it was only made for him, this toupee, wasn't it? And yeah, that was really funny because I just said it as a joke, really. I was like, "You didn't keep your wig then?" He was like, "Yeah, I did for a decade."
But they said it cost about £2,000, and this was like 1986. So it's probably worth 10 grand in today's money, isn't it? Really, so it'd be worth a fortune, really, or they spent a fortune on it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Do you still get recognised for the parts? You still got, could you go a week and somebody go, "You were out of Only Fools and Horses"?
Yeah, still get it. It's like you can do like the most amazing theatre and you can do, films or whatever, but Only Fools and Horses, like in my local, I moved up to Hertfordshire. It's a proper little pub. Goes back to the 14th century. And when I moved up here 7 years ago with my partner, I'd walk in there and it'd be like, "Oh, it's that bloke from Only Fools and Horses." And I want to say, well, actually, I've done a lot of other work. I've worked for the Royal Shakespeare Company, darling. But that's what they know me from. And as they've got to know me over the years, so I don't really talk about acting at all when I'm in there. And they know that and I respect that. But then they'll say, "Oh, I saw you in a film, or I saw you on this, and I saw you in that." But I promise you, Only Fools and Horses is one thing they all know me from.
At least you haven't got a catchphrase. Is it Roger Lloyd Pack always got, "All right, Dave," when he used to walk down the street.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm sure he loved.
Yeah,
not.
deep down. Yeah. And then you have to act like it's the first person who's ever said it to you, I suppose, as well, don't you?
Yeah, and it's the same as Nicholas with Rodney Plonker.
Plonker, yeah.
It's like I remember reading about him being called a plonker walking down the street. It's like, yeah, okay, I haven't heard that one before.
No.
But it's funny how different actors take it, don't they? I mean, everybody's different, aren't they? Different personalities. With Rodney, Nicholas Lyndhurst, he was quite a shy person, wasn't he? And he wouldn't whereas somebody like Rick Mail would go and look for people to get autographs. It's that kind of thing.
Oh, really?
People are totally different, aren't they?
Yeah.
Actors as well.
Yeah, they are.
And that's why they work so well together, Sir David and Nick, that they were so different characters. Sir David, I think Nick said, it bounced around the screen, wouldn't he? Wouldn't keep still. And Nick was very
understated,
still, didn't he? Yeah, unassuming and things. Yeah, that's why it works so well. Opposites attract, I suppose.
Yeah, totally. And he deserves the success he's having now, over in America.
Yeah.
We've said before how he is as important as Sir David Jason, without a doubt, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
No question. Yeah. So
because you've always got to have that person to bounce off. Morecambe and Wise, Lauren Hardy, Rodney and Del Boy. You've got to have the yin and yang. You have to have it.
Yeah, kind of the funny man and the straight man. Although Nick was funny, wasn't he? Yeah, but in a different way. Yeah. So what do you? I've read now. What you think? No, sorry, it's workshops that you do now. Is that what you're currently doing? Or
I'm doing all sorts at the moment. I've just I've done a short film that's on at the British Film Institute, the BFI on the South Bank, that's picked up a lot of awards, playing the co-lead in that. And yeah, a lot of theatre. And I'm also doing some acting workshops. So I'm keeping busy, I suppose, auditioning. I did a lot of theatre last year, so it's time I earned some real money and did some TV and film this year.
What is there a TV show on now you think I wouldn't mind being in that? Is there anything that you've seen lately or?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure. That nothing's really. Oh God, I'm not sure there's stuff that I would like to be in.
Tell you what's quite good. Is it Adolescence? I was watching that the other day. That's good.
I haven't watched that yet.
No.
I've heard it's brilliant, and I'm looking forward to watching that. I'm going to set a night. I think it's 4 episodes, isn't it, or something?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a great actor, isn't he, Stephen Graham? I saw him in 1,000 Blows. That's really good.
Yeah, I want to watch that as well.
That's brilliant.
We just finished Gangs of London. That I thought was so. It's very far fetched. And I just thought,
They took it too far, maybe. I haven't seen it yet, but
they've taken it very far. It's not London as we know it, put it that way. But there's a lot of good stuff out there, and I just go where the work is. If the work that I want to do. So as I said, I did a short film called Pink last year. It's on the South Bank at the moment. And that's picked up 17 awards in America and England, and that's the sort of work I like. I like to do the low budget stuff, because I just get a buzz out of it, really. Because
you were in EastEnders as well. Were you in EastEnders for long?
Oh God, yeah, just 6 episodes.
What was your character? Who were you attached to?
I was engaged to somebody. I nearly didn't bother with the audition, and they still offered it to me, which was nice. But I'm not. I've got mates who are in EastEnders, and they're good actors, but it's not the sort of thing I enjoy. Doing. I'm not, although I did Brookside, I did 26 episodes of Brookside. I really did enjoy that one. And also love Liverpool, but EastEnders, I didn't enjoy my time on that, really. I've always said I wouldn't do, if I was offered a year's contract, I wouldn't take it. I know the money's good, but it doesn't interest me.
Mm.
I like diversity. I love doing theatre. I love doing film. Some TV I enjoy doing, but I think as an actor, we're lucky to be in a profession where you can diversify between different things. At the moment, I'm sitting in my office and I write during the day when I'm not acting, and that's what I get off on. I love it.
When you watch something with being an actor, you're more self-critical of someone. You view something different than maybe being Chris viewed something. Would you? You quite.
I'm quite self-critical,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
won't overanalyze it.
Mm.
But I say, yeah, as long as I think I'm believable,
Mm.
and I think this goes for a lot of actors. As long as you're being believable, then you've done the job. It's like somebody who builds a brick wall. If they've built a brick wall and have done it well, then they've done their job. If an actor is believable in the scene and they're not acting or performing, but they're just being believable, then they've done their job. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's being truthful.
Yeah, yeah. I think you probably overplay it sometimes, can you? As well, like you say, it's got to look natural, I suppose, hasn't it? Sound natural. Yeah.
You've got to believe, and because the camera is it's like a microscope. It will pick up any false acting. And that's where the great acting comes in. It's when you believe that actor is that character.
Do you watch yourself back, or don't you like
I do. I'll watch it once.
You don't mind?
I'll watch it once or twice, and then that's it. I mean, again, going back to Laundrette, I haven't seen that film for over 20 years, and people still bring it up, and I literally can't remember what they're talking about. I've got a vague recollection, but I won't watch it again because I've done the job. I've moved on. I've done a lot of other work since then. It's very nice to be remembered for stuff, but it's not something I dwell upon.
Yeah, you're on to the next job, really, aren't you? Then I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what actors are about. You know, people hold this actors in this great esteem, and but what they don't know is they've probably been out of work for 6 months. You know, and we just want to be creative and do something that will challenge them and try and succeed in it. That's what acting's about. I think, you know, it's quite selfish, but I want to do something, you know, send me out to, I was about to say Russia, but send me out to Eastern Europe and do a play out there and you know, something that means something. You know, we're allowed to do that sort of thing, but the general public will always view you as, it's that bloke from Only Fools and Horses, that's bloke from that TV series. But actors on the whole, I promise you, want to be challenged.
Yeah. And with The Sky's the Limit, do you remember when you first watched the episode all those years ago?
Yeah, I did. I watched it with me mum and dad, and I remember. Yeah, I do remember watching it, and it's a great episode. You know, and people say, Sky's the Limit. Which one was that? And I'll go, it's that one with, and I always say it's a satellite dish on the balcony, and the plane suddenly diverts towards where Del Boy and Rodney live. Oh, God, yeah, I remember. Oh, no, now I remember you.
Switch it off.
Switch it off.
Yeah, switch it off. It's such a great, but there's so many great episodes. And that's why it's always on Gold TV or whatever it is. You know, you can literally turn it on and, you know, it's no coincidence that it's always on because there's always going to be people who watch it, which is fantastic.
I think it helps as well that not many of the episodes follow on.
Yes. They're all like single
stories. Them in a
aren't they?
random order, can't they? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can dip in and dip out. You know.
Yeah, and obviously your episode was one of the first 50 minutes. They were half an hour, but they were throwing stuff away.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. They were throwing stuff away, weren't they? So I think they could tell a bigger story, couldn't they? Like your episode, like you said before, there's a lot told in that episode, isn't there? A lot of different twists and turns in it.
Yeah.
Whereas half an hour, you've got to get to the chase quite quickly in it, really, haven't you?
What was the reception like from the BBC on the first cut, say the first season of Only Fools and Horses? What was it like?
They nearly dropped it.
Lukewarm,
really?
I would say. Yeah.
Why?
Audience figures, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Correct audience.
John Challis said that they were thinking about dropping it when I interviewed him many years ago. Sadly passed away now, but they changed it to a different time and a different day when there was a strike at the BBC and they had to put old footage out, and that's apparently why it got popular. That's what John said.
Yeah.
Amazing to think, isn't it?
That is incredible.
They got about 7 million viewers, which would be good in today's numbers, but there's only 3 channels when it first came out in 81, so it wasn't a big audience started back in the day.
Well, what season kicked it off then? Was it the second?
Yeah,
season?
I'd say so. Yeah, rerun of series 1, as Chris said, and then series 2. I think John Sullivan says series 2 was a lot better than series 1 as well.
Yeah,
he said, yeah.
I did watch this program once about how they made it and everything, and they showed you a graph of all the different, and it really went like that. To be honest, it was really low, and then it skyrocketed.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
But I know that the BBC weren't the biggest fans of the show to begin with, because they had a picture of Del Boy and Rodney in their toilets or something, didn't they?
Yeah, they had all the big shows.
In their toilets.
They had all the big shows on the wall, and then, like Chris says, they stuck Fools and Horses away. I don't know if it was the toilets, but on like the top floor where no one goes, sort of thing. Yeah. But it still holds the record, doesn't it? The episode where they become millionaires, I think it's 26.2 million.
Wow!
It'll never be beaten, will it? Now, never. With all the channels we've got.
No way.
But that just shows you how good it was.
Yeah.
Even the last episode, which some people aren't as keen on, I thought it was great. But that got something like 20 million, didn't it, or 12? But it got a big audience.
Big audience.
Well, that's the thing. If you get a good series, whether it's Only Fools and Horses or Game of Thrones, you invest in the characters. Right? You get invested. You look forward to it. It takes you out of real life. You get invested. As an actor, I know what goes on, but I still get invested in series. And it always amazes me. Oh, I didn't like that last episode, the final episode. It's like, no, it's run its course. You stuck with it all the way. This is what the producers and the writers and the actors have decided how it's going to play out. So deal with it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I liked the end. I mean, we haven't done that conversation yet, but we do think the best ending was Time on Our Hands. But I love all those moments in the last 3. We are going to do one where we're saying, should they have ended it Time on Our Hands or the way they did it? But personally, I thought the last 3 were great, and they gave us so many more moments that we wouldn't have had. You know.
And that's the thing about the writing. It's not just slapstick humor. There's emotional moments in it, quite heart wrenching moments as the series went on. And I think if you I'm sure it's studied at writing colleges, film schools. Like, you can't keep having laughter. You've got to have some pathos. You have to be emotionally engaged with the characters. And that's what the British public did. They get, and if Del Boy was sad about something, the public was sad about something. If he has a baby, if, Raquel has a baby, the public are happy. You've got to have those moments that people can relate to, and he's not being over sentimental, but people can relate to. And that's what Only Fools is such a great series.
Yeah, we've spoken about it many times, haven't we, Chris? The moment where you're laughing your head off and then the next minute you're crying.
Well, that's exactly it. Surely that is what drama is about. Holding, as Shakespeare said, holding a mirror up to life. That's what drama is about.
Yeah, the one that springs to mind is like The Death of Grandad, or when he got married and he takes the little figurine off the cake, doesn't he? And holding back the years he's playing, things like that.
Yeah,
magical.
totally. So important.
Yeah. So where would you rank your career then? You've had a successful career, long career. Where would Fools and Horses rank? Would it be somewhere near the top?
There.
Yeah, up there.
But mainly because it's, it's been part of, as I said, an institution. I'd say, Only Fools, My Beautiful Laundrette, Doctor Who.
Wow, yeah. Doctor Who, that was the serial, was it? I don't watch Doctor Who, I must admit. So was that a spin-off or something, or was that the Doctor Who?
No, that was way back in the day with Colin Baker.
Oh, Colin Baker, yeah. So we're going back 80s, maybe.
Yeah, I did about 90s. I did a couple of episodes of that, and again, it's been part of an institution. Only Fools, Doctor Who is. I'm part of that, and it's and Laundrette, obviously, which was the film that I suppose launched me, was such an important film, and I'm still talking about it. I did a thing today about it. It's just nice to be part of stuff that people remember.
I'll look at that. Sorry, Laundrette, is it, you say?
Yeah, My Beautiful Laundrette with Daniel Day-Lewis.
I'll look at that.
Yeah, great actor.
Yeah. We've name dropped a few people, haven't we, tonight?
We've named I could name drop a few people, but I mustn't. But yeah. So, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
It has been. Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us.
It's been, and I'm honoured to be asked to be on this. It's again, it's a testament of how good Only Fools and Horses is.
Yeah. No, the pleasure's all ours, Gordon. It's very nice of you to join us. Brilliant.
No, thank you.
Hopefully, see you at one of these conventions sometime, eh?
Well, it'd be lovely to be invited again. So,
yeah.
And if we do, let's have a good old chat.
Yeah, we'll buy you. What is it? Red wine you have? We'll buy you red wine.
I'm having a red wine now, but I'm partial to a pint of ale as well.
Oh right, okay. Might do that.
And a decent Scotch.
Okay. Oh wow, God, could be a messy night then.
Could be a session, yeah.
Yeah, it could be a messy night.
So you better start saving up now.
Yeah. Ooh, what a mix.
Lovely
guys.
chatting. Thanks for joining us.
So much.
Cheers.
Bonjour for now. Pleasure. Thanks, Gordon.
Bookie Street.